Howdy partners.
Howdy partner.
Going to check out an English heritage site on this slightly overcast Sunday morning. I had a bit of a mishap there because the original place I had in mind ended up being an hour and a half. There's actually two of those castles. If you put the castle name, it comes up with two different locations, and when I checked it yesterday it was only an hour away, so had to sort of faff about a bit and find another place. This has messed up my wing mirror, this clip here. Might have to pull over and rectify that. But yeah, so was going to talk about my road safety course that I did. And so what happened is I wasn't on the bike, first of all, and I wasn't consciously speeding either. I'm going to seriously have to pull over and sort this wing mirror out. Okay, wing mirror sorted. Just faffering around with my Insta-X4 camera, which I'm beginning to wonder if it was a bit of a waste of money actually. That camera resulted in my wing mirror getting loose, because it's the only place I can think to sort of find to clip it on my bike at the moment. Anyhow, where was I? Road safety course. Apparently you're supposed to keep it all super confidential if you've been on one. So the first reaction is you're counting your lucky stars that you didn't actually get points and a fine. But then when the reality sinks in, you've got to pay 99 quid anyway for this road safety thingy, and then you have to sit through a 3-hour ordeal. You can start to feel that you start to view it with drudgery and unnecessary evil just to get out of the way. I do believe it stays on the record for 3 years, so if you get caught speeding again in that 3-year period, then you go automatically to points and fines. So I presume that after 3 years the slate gets wiped clean, and I might actually get caught out by a little bit of rain today. But the long and short of it is, obviously I opted to take the safety course rather than the points and fine. I can't think who in their right mind would do otherwise, unless for some reason I don't know, you're about to leave the country for an extended period of time and you just can't, but then you can book it online, so you can do the course online. I can't think that anyone would ever choose the fine and the points over the safety course, but nevertheless they give you the option. And so yeah, first you're thinking, let's just get this horrible thing out of the way, and it's some inconvenience, but you can't avoid it, you have to do it. But then when you get on the course, so firstly you see a bunch of other people on there, because your camera has to be switched on Zoom, you're not allowed to switch it off, and you're not allowed to mute yourself either. And you think, oh boy, I'm with a bunch of people that I don't know here. How's this? And the instructor is also saying that you have to comment, you have to participate. But the perception rapidly changed, because first of all the course was really interesting. 3 hours more or less flew right by quick. They did give us one break. Secondly, the audience participation is not as bad, really. It's not that bad. I think everyone had a share. And there was one sort of shy, I don't know if she was Thai or Vietnamese lady who didn't comment, but she was pulled in by the instructor to give comments. So everyone said something. But whether it's learning new things that you should have known in the highway code but somehow missed. I mean, it's a long time ago since I passed even my bike test. Bike test was 2001. Can't remember the exact year now. Car was 95. So, and I mean, when I took my car test, there wasn't a written highway code test at the time. The instructor would just incorporate a few questions. But come the time of the bike test, of course, I did need to do that. I remember I got 100% in that. You have to do that before you take your bike test, I think. Yeah, it comes before. And then CBR, the theory test is what I'm talking about, and then the actual full access, full access or direct access. What do they call it? Riding the big bikes like this guy I'm on today. So on the written test, I've got 100%, but nevertheless, there were new things that I learned, and there was things I forgot that I needed to be reminded of. So just for that alone, the course was interesting. If I give an example, can you describe what a dual carriageway is in the UK? What is a dual carriageway? Is it a road that has 4 lanes, 2 lanes on one side and 2 lanes on the other? Because the answer is surprising. I'm sure I must have known that, but somehow I forgot. And then they go into, and this is the scary bit of the course, because if you were doing 31 miles an hour in a 30 zone, I mean, I'll come on to my incident in a moment. I was actually clocked at 35 in a 30, I believe. If you're doing 31 in a 30 and you get clocked, now the instructor said there's no tolerance limit. As soon as you go over, you're breaking the law. I'm not certain about that the speedometer would let you down to that precision that you'd get clocked there. But for argument's sake, you're doing 31 in a 30. Now, you are breaking the law. They're not. If you got clocked before having seen the information on the driver safety course, you'd probably be right outraged. You'd probably think, this is really letter of the law, this is unreasonable. I was only 1 mile over. Get lost. Leave me alone. But in actual fact, and I better not be a hypocrite here, in this Meriden slow speed area, in actual fact, they show the professional driver coming to an emergency stop, and like this in experimental conditions. I think it's on a where is it? Like an airstrip or somewhere. And they do it so that he can just literally within a hair's breadth, come to a stop before hitting these cardboard boxes. Then what they do is they get him to go to 31 miles an hour, 1 mile an hour over. And obviously he can't stop, he hits the boxes. But what's interesting is that the speed at which he's hitting the boxes, even though he's doing 1 mile over, is 9 miles an hour. They repeat the exercise with 70 and 80. If you hit the obstacle at 80, you're actually, when you hit it, it's with a force of 39 miles per hour. So even the 9 miles per hour, where literally probably a metre or so later the car's stopping, that's enough to kill someone. If a car hits you at 9 miles an hour, it's enough to kill someone, or definitely seriously injure, run them over, because you can't stop ultimately. But obviously you hit an object at 39 miles an hour force, that's instant death, splattered over your vehicle. So that sort of, especially as a biker, we sort of resent the speed limits, but and I'm not here I'm not becoming an apologist for speed limits or anything like that. very, very hard on a bike to be strict, but it nevertheless gets you thinking. Trying to think of some other interesting things that are on the course. Apparently we're not really supposed to talk about it too much, but anyhow, I got it out of the way. It has changed my perspective. I think I'm going to be sort of determined to obey the speed limit now. Oh blast, I've just realised that I've forgotten my wallet, and I'm going to have to go through a toll here. I'm going to have to rely on my mobile phone. And my mobile phone is in the back, so it's going to be a bit tricky getting through. Anyhow, let's practice what we preach here and stick to the speed limit, shall we? Which is not easy to do on an MT10. But yeah, I kind of got the point. Alright. So today we'll go to an English heritage site. I've kind of tested out a few different cameras. Might see if I can pull over and turn them off, and then turn them back on as we get a bit closer. Or I could just leave them rolling, I suppose. Our sizes will be a bit bigger.
Okay, so I'm dubbing over here with a few standout points from the driver safety course that I had to take. Here was a point that I found interesting. Our brain processes things at the speed of walking or running. So at high speed it takes more time, and that's why you should allow yourself more time to stop and also not go above the speed limit, because the speed limits are there for that reason. It's not illegal to have in-car technology, but it is illegal to be distracted by it. So that was a good point that was brought out as well. And the instructor also highlighted Highway Code Rules 149, 150 about mobile phones. Apparently, if you are caught handling your mobile phone while you're driving, it's an automatic 6 points on your license. No questions asked. They slap that straight on. On this particular video that you're seeing, I actually finally mastered how to switch on the cruise control on my MT10, and that was a tool that was mentioned as a safeguard to keeping the speed limit as well, using both cruise control but also the adaptive cruise control and also speed limiter. I figured out how to use the speed limiter on this trip as well. I say figured out, I switched it on by mistake. I can't actually quite remember how I did it, so I have to go back and figure that out properly, but certainly these tools can help you to keep within the speed limit. And then the course also spoke about clues, for example behaviour clues. If you see a pedestrian on the pavement, begin to look over their shoulder, or a car ahead swerving, perhaps to miss an obstacle. And then environment clues, such as a van blocking visibility in the road ahead. The SLT acronym was repeated quite a lot. S for signs, L for street lights, and T for type, in identifying where you are and therefore what the speed limit is, as indicated by the type of road, the signs, but also street lights. So with the exception of the motorway, if there are street lights, it pretty much always means that the speed limit is 30, unless there is a sign that indicates that it's a different speed limit, such as 40 or 50. But if there's no sign, then you have to assume that it's 30. What was interesting as well is how they brought out that if the speed limit is 60 miles an hour and you have a 10-mile journey to make and you're late, so you speed 70 miles an hour to get there quicker supposedly, you only gain 86 seconds over a 10-mile journey apparently. So it just highlights really the futility of speeding unnecessarily doesn't really advance you much. You only gain 86 seconds, so you might as well not risk getting banned from driving or getting points on your license. If you see a sign that has a red circle, then it's enforceable and you're breaking the law if you exceed that speed. But if the speed is not surrounded by a red circle, if it's a sign that doesn't have the red circle around it, then it's more of a suggestion. So it's not enforceable if you go above that speed. However, if something goes wrong, you can be prosecuted for dangerous driving at that point. Hence why it makes sense to heed the suggestion and just stick to the speed limit that they're saying. They gave tips on the course on how to cope with tiredness. The main one is just to stop and have a break and plan your journey in such a way that, particularly if it's a long journey, that you're incorporating frequent enough stops for resting. But a couple of other tips: apparently if you chew gum, your brain thinks that you're eating, therefore you wake up a bit more. And obviously coffee can help, but bearing in mind that it can take 15 minutes for that coffee to actually have an effect in waking you up. I spoke about the 2 chevrons gap, which you will see sometimes on the motorway, that you should get into the general habit of keeping a 2 chevrons gap with the vehicle in front, which represents a 2 seconds stopping time, or 2 seconds distance, I guess. Important point for bikers to bear in mind, as we like to go to Wales for touring purposes, whilst the speed limit in built-up areas by default in England, Scotland and Northern Ireland is 30 miles an hour. In Wales it changes and it drops to 20 miles an hour in built-up areas. So that's an important one to keep in mind. And in terms of national speed limit, how you know that the national speed limit applies, you can think of NSL, or no sign or lights. So as a general rule, if there are lights, if there are street lights, with the exception of the motorway, then it means that it's 30 miles an hour. But if there's no signs or lights, then national speed limit applies, NSL. A dual carriageway, as I mentioned, has nothing to do with the number of lanes. It must have a physical barrier in the middle between the traffic travelling in one direction, traffic travelling in the opposite direction. That could be grass or a barrier, like a metal fence. But there has to be a barrier there in order for it to be classified as a dual carriageway, and therefore 70 miles an hour national speed limit. And we also went through the things that can cause you to speed, being hurried, angry, stressed, tired, or excited. So all of those things you have to try and get under control. But the instructor also recommended having not tunnel vision, but funnel vision, and even commentary driving. So you're actually talking about the conditions on the road, the things that you see, talking back to yourself as you drive, in order to sort of like reinforce what's going on into your mind. So those were a few things that I gleaned from that driver safety course, and now let's crack on to our destination for this trip. the English Heritage Boscobel House and the Royal Oak. I almost forgot I was going to let you know the reason why I ended up having to take the driver safety course. And basically what happened was I was on autopilot along a stretch of road where there'd been speed cameras installed not that long ago, and I was, as I say, driving on autopilot and not fully paying attention, and so that my speed just gradually crept up by 5 miles over the limit, and so I got clocked at 35 in a 30. So I wasn't consciously speeding in my case. I was driving my car. It was an accidental incident, so it just shows how important it is just to keep focused at all times. Basically, when you're driving a car, you are driving a coffin on wheels, and that's really what this course also brought home, that responsibility that you have. It's something that's very personal to me, since that's how tragically my sister ended up being killed in 2001 as complications as a result of a bad traffic accident. And so but we can all make mistakes, and sometimes our standards can slip a little, which is why such courses can be good. And maybe rather than falling into a position I got into where I had to take the course and pay a 99 quid fee, just watch some videos on YouTube or refresh your memory on these things. Prevention is better than a cure, as they say.